change. 2 new teams next season.
I think there's so much unexpected that's going to happen this season.
I think the offseason was an intense shakeup.
Honestly, every team went through quite the process there, so it's going to be whoever did the work.
I don't think there's going to be any predictors this year because you don't know what Seattle and Vancouver have, really, and you don't know what the other teams have still.
People are going to be fighting for every inch on the ice, so I think that's going to be really exciting for us as players, but also for the fans.
High-stakes, competitive games. It's hard. It's hard to play.
Every single night, every point on the board is so important, and it matters.
It's going to be harder and harder to win the Walter Cup with more teams, so that fight that we have every night, it's only going to get higher.
New players, new rivalries, and some spiciness too.
Well, for the second time in league history, the Minnesota Frost begin defense of their Walter Cup championship, and it begins right here at the newly named Grand Casino Arena as they play host to the Scepters, the team they bumped in round number 1 on the way to both of their championships. Some new faces in Toronto. Ella Shelton picked up on draft day in that trade, playing her first game for Toronto tonight. Now a new face in Minnesota, Kendall Coyne-Schofield, looking to lead her team to that three-peat.
The puck is down and season 3 is underway across the PWHL. Toronto winning the opening draw. Settled early by the rookie Kendall Cooper, going to work along the boards in the corner, and Minnesota able to break out clean. Tonight, a rematch of the semifinal matchup that saw Minnesota advance in 4 games against the Toronto Scepters. Actually, the second straight year those two met in the semifinals.
Yeah, for it just being the 3rd season of this league, these two teams have seen plenty of each other. And Toronto probably at times has felt like they've seen enough of Minnesota, especially in the playoffs.
Troy Ryan telling us before the game, though, that there hasn't been much chatter about that at all. There are enough new players on both sides that he doesn't think there's going to be any residual bad blood as Britta Kurossalemi goes to work. Tried to feed it along to Kelly Panic, taken away by the Scepters, but held in now by the Frost. And a turnover momentarily, and the Malte settles. Reagan Kirk, your starting netminder for the Toronto side. Reagan Kirk started as a backup last year to Kristen Campbell. Scepters have since parted ways with their previous starting netminder, and now it's Reagan Kirk and Elaine Shuley who will battle for that #1 spot.
Yeah, Reagan Kirk last season had 5 wins, got into 8 games last year, and they're looking forward to see what they can get out of her this season.
They jam away along the boards. Madison Bazal trying to clear the zone for the Frost. Savannah Harmon, nice work to keep it in. Kiara Zanin wearing number 11 for the Scepters. She's one of their high draft picks that they're very excited about. And an offside. There's Cooper, slings it across the step line, centering pass, and Budarak is taken down. Step line, sends it deep once more. Claire Turnbull is there. Jesse Comfort trying to clear the zone. The turnover is Budarak able to fling that toward the net, and Kirk handles it.
Budarak had what looked like it was going to be a chance in the slot, but couldn't corral it. Then gets a look there, and there's a look at Reagan Kirk's last season stats. Again, has not gotten a starting role yet in this league. We'll see if she maybe gets the starting role this season. And then Rooney on the other side of things, of course, a familiar face. Minnesota, the only team to retain their top 2 goaltenders from last season into this season, which could be huge for the Frost if goaltending becomes a big duel here in this league this season. They've got 2 well-experienced goaltenders.
Pretty much a 50-50 split in each of the first 2 years. Here's Minnesota on the break. Coming in is Abby Hustler and sends it wide. Trying to connect with Grace Zumwinkle.
Well, I liked what she was trying to do there, was kind of running out of room on the angle, but just couldn't connect on the pass.
Natalie Spooner clears the zone, and she'll head for a change. Yeah, Minnesota has the luxury of two true number ones in net. And they've been able to go back and forth depending on who has the hot hand. Rosalemi had it stripped by the new Scepters player, Emma Gentry. Toronto's second round pick. Although it was the first pick for the Scepters at the draft since they traded their first round and fourth round picks to get the one and only Ella Shelton on the blue line. A good chance in front and they score! Kendall Coyne-Schofield is off to the races already.
Well, when in doubt, give it to the captain. Kendall Coyne-Schofield knows how to get it done, and a early goal here for the Minnesota Frost. Kendall Coyne-Schofield was first on the team in goals last year with 12, first on the team with 24 points. And she scores the first goal of the season in the PWHL and for the Minnesota Frost here with this one.
To the surprise of no one. One of the new changes to the rule book this year is there is no coach's challenge.
Yep. And you couldn't challenge offside in the past anyway, but you could challenge other things. This year, everything comes from the central situation room. They determine if they feel something needs to be looked at. No opportunity for coaches to challenge this year. They just want to get it right on the first try.
And so it is a good goal, just 4 minutes into season 3. Your back-to-back Walter Cup champions strike first. That shot didn't miss by much. Cooper with the long drive. Cooper slings it across the step line. Looking for a tip in front. It was blocked on the way. Cooper going cross ice for Shishova. It is worth noting the Scepters are without reigning defender of the year, Renata Fast, tonight. Toronto does have a bit of a break after this, not playing until next weekend.
Which is part of the reason Coach Troy Ryan and the coaching staff decided they'd keep her out for this game.
Right.
Instead of putting her in for game 1 just to have 10 days of rest anyway.
Callie Flanagan tries a shot, banks it off the end boards. It comes around to Condis. Jessica Condis jamming away, had it stripped by the Frost. A couple of new players on both sides. Another chance here for Budarak, who sends it through the crease. Claire Budarak making an early impression in this game.
Yeah, she's had a couple looks or at least opportunities.
Carol Watts trying to keep it alive. Pearl Salemi. Mika Himlarova able to clear it out. Drops her Heisey. Taylor Heisey, top of the slot, takes the shot, fought off by Kirk. The rebound comes loose.
Nice job by Heisey there just to find an open lane. She's such a good puck handler. Always is able to find some open space and gets a good look in on Kirk. Still not a registered shot on net for the Toronto Scepters yet, about 7 minutes into this one.
They jam away. Toronto trying to get that shot. There it is. Pad save for Rooney as the Scepters continue to hold the zone. Their first sustained zone time so far this game. Frost able to chip it out momentarily.
Got a broken stick out on the ice. Half of it's on one side of the trapezoid, half of it's on the other side, down in Minnesota side.
Coyne-Schofield rings it around the boards to Curl Salemi. Pass just a little too hot for May Batherson. Toronto trying to break out, and they will do so. Kiara Zanin sends it in. Comfer. And that shot steered aside by Rooney. Comfer fighting off Dominic Petrie. Allie Monroe up top for Maggie Connors. Her shot blocked on the way. Puck is loose momentarily. Deflected off a skate and out of harm's way.
A great recovery there in the slot by Curl just to clear that loose puck out. Rooney was in a prone position.
That shot from distance fought off by Rooney. So the Scepters showing some life here down early.
Yeah, great response by Toronto after giving up that goal 4 minutes into the game. They've had some pressure here the last couple of minutes and have now evened the shots on net to 3. So nothing like mentioning a stat to draw attention to it and turn it completely around, I suppose.
Chance behind the net for the Scepters, looking for a lane up to the top. Harmon's shot blocked on the way.
And great screen in front. I know it didn't get to her, but Rooney did not have a good look at that puck because of the Toronto screen.
Right back come the Scepters. That shot wide of the mark. Emma Malte cuts it off. Now Madison Bazal hands it off to Sydney Morin. One of the new faces that actually has played in the league before. She spent last year with the Boston Fleet.
Yeah, between her and Cooper, Coach Ken Clee feels that they've got a good chance to try to fill some of the shoes they lost with Jakes and Thompson going elsewhere in the expansion draft, so he's excited to see what they can do.
Malte's drive missed the net. And those are large skates to fill.
They are.
Sophie Jakes and Claire Thompson, 2 of the top 5 scorers for this Frost team last year.
I remember when
expansion draft.
Yeah, when I saw them get picked up, my first thought was, oh boy, we'll see how Minnesota recovers from that one. And looks like they've got some potentially really good options here to replace what they lost in those 2 players.
Battle for possession, scooped up. Here comes Zumwinkle. Good stick by Shelton to disrupt the play. Heisey. Nifty little pass over to Hustler. One down by Heisey. Kendall Cooper able to hold the zone for Minnesota. Now Zumwinkle down low. Zumwinkle has Hustler with her. Takes a shove from Emma Gentry.
You can hear the official telling the players to move their skates.
Here's Lee Steckline from the circle. Shot and saved by Kirk. Scepters will clear it, but well, icing waved off. Steckline into the zone once more. Petrie, a cross-ice pass, and a big save from Kirk.
Yeah, nice quick shot there off the pass by Petrie, and a nice save by Reagan Kirk.
Shisheva back up top for Morin. Batherson off the end boards. Here's Shisheva trying to center. Scepters able to clear the zone.
Yeah, I like the idea there, but that slot was kind of clogged up by Toronto, and they do get a hold of that puck and able to move it down the ice.
Pass from Shisheva just out of the reach of Panic. Panic trying to get it back now in the corner. Kelly Panic taking on 2 Scepters players, and still Coyne Schofield able to come away with the puck. Minnesota keeps it alive. Coyne Schofield. Kelly Panic, her shot blocked. Centering try from Curl Salemi was sniffed out by the Scepters.
A good idea to just try to throw it out front. Couple bodies out there. You never know what that puck might bank off of and in.
And we get a whistle. Well, a fast start for the defending champs. Minnesota with the first goal of the season, Season 3 across the PWHL. Minnesota pretty dominant in the faceoff circle to this point, 5-2 in favor of the Frost. Natalie Spooner has it taken away. Kendall Cooper will flip it up the ice. Icing waved off here as Shelton scoops up the loose puck. Izzy trying to create havoc. Comes out of the zone, and that would have been a very good opportunity for the Frost.
Yeah, Frost almost able to keep that in the zone with that pressure there at the point, but the puck does come out.
Here's Turnbull. Scepters captain that Troy Ryan says is basically an additional coach. Maddie Rooney behind her own net to play it. Allie Monroe fighting off Imlarova, and now Connors looking for a deflection in front. Looked like it went off the skate of Jessie Comfer. Comfer gets it back. Trying to center for Connors. Izzy will flip it off the glass and out.
Well, that all started off a good forecheck, which Coach Troy Ryan said was the thing he was most looking for in this game. And they get in hard on the puck there, and we're able to sustain some pressure off of it.
Madison Bazal around the boards to Batherson. Bazal excited to be playing for her hometown team after spending time elsewhere in the PWHL.
Yeah, rocking the number 9 this year. That was Mae Batherson's number last year. So Bazal took 9. Batherson now rocking the number 21.
Good pace in the early going between these two teams. And you think about how short training camp is.
Yeah.
We asked both coaches what they expect, as that shot is blocked on the way. And they said, you know, we're not really sure what to expect.
Yeah, they basically said, let's talk after game 1, see what we get out of our players here, and see what happens before we make any big decisions about the season.
Well, Ken Cleese saying, we know it's just one game at the end of the day. This banner raising ceremony can be emotional, and just get through tonight and go from there. Here's Claire Dalton. Skates it around the net, feeds Malte, crunched along the boards by Curl Salemi. Malte lost a glove, but able to scoop it up, and we get a whistle. We step aside momentarily as the Frost enjoy a 1-0 lead here at Grand Casino Arena. Here's Kelly Panic, in all alone. Good stick saved by Kirk.
And a delayed penalty here. Rooney was starting to head to the bench.
So our first power play of the season. Check that. They are discussing whether it is a penalty shot.
Penalty shot awarded.
Oh boy.
Alrighty then.
Here we go, night 1.
What more could you ask for?
Let's go.
What else can we get in this game? We're not even through this first period yet.
Let's take another look at the call and why they deem this worthy of a penalty shot.
Yeah, I mean, couple big things. She didn't really get the shot off. She had a clear path to the lane, was infracted with, so that kind of checks all the boxes. So we'll see if Kelly Panic can add to this lead.
Kelly Panic, 3 goals on the season last year, working in down the left side, makes a move, and stopped by Kirk.
Great job by Reagan Kirk to stick with her. Panic was giving her all the moves, the shoulder shimmy, cutting left, cutting right, and Reagan Kirk did not bite on that at all. And Panic can't elevate the puck. Another look at it here from this angle. She tried to get it up and over that left pad, and Kirk stuck with it. So see if that could be maybe a tide turner here for Toronto. Anytime you have a big play like that, penalty shot opportunity denied. And Toronto with 4 minutes and 11 seconds left to work with here in this first period. We'll see if they can find their way back into this game now.
Yeah, we'll remember that moment as this game progresses. Little tip toward the net. Nicely done by the newest Frost member, Abby Hustler. Big difference going into the room down 1 goal versus 2.
Absolutely. Especially on the road.
Maggie Connors bumped off the puck. They jam away in the corner.
And the official once again saying that they're not blowing the whistle, so you better dig it loose.
Heisey trying to break it free. And here come the Frost. It's Grace Zumwinkle. Checked off the puck.
Yeah, she got crunched just in front of the Toronto bench there.
Batherson. More in the shot. Gloved and held by Kirk. Big fan of her, saying she's one of the best people I've ever met or worked with, let alone coached. Certainly a great player as well. Malte streaking to the net, and Toronto scores! Looked like it was Shelton joining the rush, and sure enough, the new Scepters defender ties it at 1.
Couldn't have teed that one up any better, Jamie. I mean, how about that? Troy Ryan had a lot of good things to say about her ahead of the game, and this puck just kind of kept drifting away from everybody, and it ends up behind Maddie Rooney as Ella Shelton able to track this puck down. Nobody on her, and she just backhands it home. Wow. And that puck just kind of went through a lot of bodies untouched. Before you know it, it's in the back of the net behind Maddie Rooney. So Toronto evens this up with just under 3 minutes to go in this first period. We got a fresh game ahead of us, all even at 1.
A highlight reel goal for Ella Shelton. 8 goals on the season last year with the New York Sirens, but Troy Ryan telling us before the game, we think she's got even more to give. Certainly showing it here tonight.
Yeah, and he said she's one of those players you can put on any team, and she's going to be the perfect addition. So he's thrilled to have her on his team and already making an impact here.
Don't forget, she scored the first ever PWHL goal back on New Year's Day, 2024.
It'll be the answer to a trivia question for the rest of time.
Has her puck in the Hall of Fame. Drafted 4th overall by PWHL New York.
Hoping that she could have a healthy season here and kind of get back to what she was able to do pre-injury in season 1.
Steckline looking for a tip in front. Takes off the end boards as Budarak jams away in the corner. Shelton trying to lead the breakout. Zanin with it, lost it momentarily. Kendall Cooper has him Larova. Sends it up for Budarak, who was at the end of a long shift and heads to the bench. Well, that penalty shot save looms very large now.
Jamie, we might share a brain because I was just thinking about that.
That shot hit a body in front and then off the post. Toronto with a bit of a break here in the final minute and change of the first period.
Well, that puck ended up back behind Kirk, but she gets a helping hand from the iron, and the Frost come very close to retaking the lead, but no such luck.
Zumwinkle taken down along the boards, looked like she lost an edge. Hustler stripped to the puck by Maggie Connors, centering in front, but only Frost players were there.
And yeah, you said that we might be thinking about that penalty shot later. I think the Frost are thinking about it right now.
Connors tips it in. Hustler hands it off to Heisey. Harmon will send it deep for the Scepters. Final 30 seconds of the first period. Tied at 1 on opening night across the PWHL. Reese Steckline. Back to collect it in her own end. Kendall's coin Schofield. Curl Salemi now. Stops up, waits for help. Slings it across the Steckline. Steckline shot, gloved and held by Kirk.
She had a nice clean look there. Everybody at the net front was kind of off to the left of Kirk, so Steckline saw it well, but unfortunately for Steckline, that means Kirk also saw it cleanly. And Kirk able to make a save late here with less than a second on the clock. Steckline just steps up into the circle and fires one. What a end of the season she had last year, Jamie, really turned it on late as far as scoring goes, and she's actually had a couple chances here today already.
And the horn sounds on period number 1. A penalty shot denied, and a first goal of season 3 across the PWHL. The back-to-back Walter Cup champs trying to start their defense of their title on the right foot. We'll be right back. We want nothing less than amazing hockey, and we've seen that today. Minnesota getting started early with who else? The captain.
Yeah, both teams looking good in this first period. They look refreshed, and Kendall Coyne-Schofield, the captain, gets the scoring started just 4 minutes into the game with that play. And it was a great look, a great opportunity, a great pass out front. And Kendall Coyne-Schofield, she's so fast, she will find that open ice, and she finds it there. And you said it, Jamie, that might haunt Minnesota. Well, it might have haunted them by the end of that first period, as one of the newest members of the Toronto Scepters, Ella Shelton, gets on the scoreboard late in that first period to make it a 1-1 game. And now here we sit with a fresh 20 in front of us.
A highlight reel goal, too, by Ella Shelton. So, yeah, this is how the numbers stack up through 20 minutes of play. Still looking for our first power play, but we did have that penalty shot, which, by the way, there was only one penalty shot all of last season, and this one by Panic was only the 5th penalty shot in league history. There have been no penalty shot goals, which is, I guess, a testament to the goaltending in this league. Period 2 underway from Grand Casino Arena here in downtown St. Paul, Minnesota, home to the back-to-back Walter Cup champions. Toronto looking for a much stronger start to this period than the last one, as Blair Turnbull rings it around the boards for Connors. Steckline trying to clear the zone, turned it over to Comfer. Comfer lost it once more to Steckline. And now Zumwinkle gaining speed through the neutral zone. Tried to feed it through. Couldn't connect with Hustler. That pass dangerous in front, and Heisey turned aside by Kirk.
Well, not the player that you want that puck to end up on their stick if you're Toronto. Heisey out front, a bounce just puts the puck right on her stick, and she tries to bank it home short side, but Kirk is there for the save.
Morin unable to hold the zone, chases it back in her own end. Coyne-Schofield hands it off to Panic. For the curl, back for Coyne-Schofield. Curl up to the blue line. That shot didn't miss by much. Cross ice pass for Daryl Watts, who ended up tying for 3rd in the league in points last year. Natalie Spooner's shot fought off by Rooney.
Yeah, caught her in the elbow there. She just kind of shrugged it off.
Flanagan looking for a tip. Caught the stick of Morin. Spooner from behind the net. Trying to center, but nobody home for the Scepters.
You know, these two teams tied up at 1. They've played each other evenly as far as wins and losses go over the years.
Emma Woods into the zone. Malte a chance, and it hit Ella Shelton. Unable to get the shot off. Now Woods takes it off the boards for Watts. Woods, she gets tangled up with Kelly Panic. And a Shelvin. Pretty good zone time in the early going as Gentry walks it out. Good stick by Bizal to disrupt the play, but Toronto able to hold the zone.
Great pressure here early in the second by Toronto.
Savannah Harmon walking in, takes it behind the net. Going short side, stick save, rebound chance, and Harmon sends it over the net.
Minnesota came out as the better team in the first period, and Toronto is coming out as the better team here about 3 minutes into the second.
Four players locked in the battle along the boards, and now a blast. Jessica Condas. Harmon trying to settle.
And a delayed penalty on Minnesota. Kirk to the bench.
Comfer almost hit Kirk on her way to the bench. Comfer trying to fight through Shisheva, and the whistle blows. Let's check in with Rob Pizzo.
Coach, we had to expect a fired up Minnesota team, but how happy are you with the way your team responded after that goal was scored?
Yeah, I thought we came out pretty flat. Just, probably some nerves for our first game, but I love the response. Great to see Ella join the play and get things started. And obviously Kirky with the penalty shot save. Yeah, it's good. And we're happy to come out with a 1-1 tie.
I was going to ask you about Ella. First game, first period, first goal. How good that feels to see her do that?
That's great. We're counting on her to get 30 now.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Heck of a prediction.
And
that is hot take?
Yeah, exactly. There we go. And now another opportunity here for Toronto as they'll begin a power play.
Yeah, hooking call here going against Minnesota, and maybe playing with fire. Toronto had the best power play in the league last season. Minnesota with a good test here in the second period.
This power play brought to you by Royale Tiger Towel, Paper Towel. Power through tough messes. Daryl Watts takes a shot. Spooner looking for the tip in front, couldn't get it to settle. Emma Malte lost it. And the Frost cleared the zone.
Well, and that puck did not miss the net by much, and Rooney was kind of moving the other direction, and in a desperate attempt tried to keep that skate tied up to the post, and thankfully for her, the puck just went wide.
Watts up to the blue line for Shelton. Shelton back to Watts. Watts, good stick by Curl. Shelton, Harmon. Spooner bothered by Steckline, someone who Ken Klee says is the best defender in this league. He has high praise for number 2.
Yeah, she's got a great stick, really good poise, and she's been around. She knows how to get the job done.
Emma Malte tried to get the shot off, defended well by Shisheva.
Great effort by Curl to clear the puck. I mentioned that Toronto had the best power play in the league last year. I should also mention Minnesota's penalty kill was the worst. So this is not the match you want if you're Minnesota right now.
In with speed is Turnbull. Connors tried to go across. Puck was loose momentarily, and Batherson will clear it.
Already just 30 seconds remaining here. Good efforts by Minnesota.
Now shorthanded, Grace Zumwinkle gets taken down, no call.
Yeah, that should have been a tripping call for sure.
And hear what the crowd thinks of that. Yep. We play on. 10 seconds to go on the advantage for Toronto. Racing ahead. Anderson tries a shot, missed it high and wide.
Anderson, one of the new members of this Minnesota Frost team. Had a career high points at Northeastern last year. A good look in the final seconds of the penalty kill there.
Back to even strength, just one shot on goal for the Toronto power play.
Well, some really good pressure in the first minute or so by Toronto, but they just couldn't make anything happen. And then later in the power play, Minnesota got some kills, or some clears, I beg your pardon, and they're able to kill it off.
Allie Monroe off the end boards. Over to Sheldon. Sarah Jalmerson, one of the rookies for this Scepters team. In comes Coyne Schofield. Coyne Schofield tried to thread it through to Madison Bazal.
Yeah, there's just a couple sticks in the lane by Toronto that broke up the play.
Ella Shelton will track it down in her own zone. Leaves it for Harmon. Coyne Schofield disrupted by Gentry, and both players go to the ice. Turnbull looking to flip it out. Again, tonight's game, a rematch of the semifinals. 4 games is all that it took for the Frost to dispose of the Scepters last year. Taylor Heisey scoring in overtime of Game 4 to clinch the semifinals and advance to the Walter Cup Finals. Zanin lost a glove late to the play. Here comes Petrie driving in. Takes it around the net. Goes up high. Batherson hands off to Petrie. Petrie walking in, takes a shot off the post. Now Batherson the blast, just wide. Here come the Scepters, 2-on-2. Emma Woods tried to go back to George. Zanin. Monroe looking for a tip, it's in front. Rooney was down, but somehow the puck stays out.
Yeah, Rooney was in the starfish position. Looked like she just kind of slipped.
Shelvin gets her own rebound, flips it in. George trying to keep this play alive for Toronto. Here's Hustler. Good forecheck by Emma Malte.
There's that forecheck that Coach Ryan talked about, back to work.
Frost able to clear the zone momentarily, but right back comes Natalie Spooner. Makes the move, tries to get the shot up and fanned on it.
Well, fanned on the first two attempts, but good work to stick with it for the third try that finally got on net that Rooney fought off.
Spooner from below the goal line. Takes it to the net. Wasn't able to quite get to that short side. Players strewn all over the ice. Hustler and Harmon battling.
I love to see the physicality by Hustler in her first game in the PWHL.
She's a hustler, baby.
Yeah.
Turnbull. You mentioned it, this second period has been dominated by Toronto to this point in the way that the first period was dominated by the Frost. Shots are currently 5-1 this period in favor of the Scepters, but they're in offside. A good look for Dominique Petrie, perhaps the best one this season, this period, rings it off the iron. Buderak intercepts the pass, tried to center, Turnbull's there, they still get the shot off, but Kirk is able to handle it.
I really like the way that Buderak has played today. She had 6 points last year in 29 games. She's got 9 points all time in the PWHL, and she's just kind of been all over the offensive zone tonight with some chances of her own, a really good pass there to set up her teammate for a chance. So for a player who hasn't been known to accumulate a ton of points in her PWHL history, the way she's playing tonight, you wouldn't necessarily think that.
Right, certainly not a household name by any means, undrafted, a local product out of Andover, Minnesota. But you're right, maybe this is the year she really breaks out and provides an impact for the Frost. Shelvin, panic, intercepts it. Centering pass, Quinn Schofield was there, unable to get a shot off. Cooper, across her step line, her drive missed the net. Little push back by Minnesota after going more than 9 minutes without a shot on goal.
And now they draw a penalty here with a trip in the neutral zone. And they'll get their first crack on the power play.
Toronto, number 27, minor penalty, tripping.
Well, we'll be right back to get our first look at the Frost power play this season. All tied up at 1 here in downtown St. Paul.
If your special teams aren't clicking, that's usually the sign of a team that's struggling. We'll see what Minnesota can do here on their first chance of the night.
Abby Hustler drops for Heisey. Heisey gets it back. Steckline, back to Heisey. Heisey, nifty little backward pass, and one-timer, Kirk fights it off.
And Dom's Petrie out front almost found that rebound, and Petrie, for fans who remember last year, started off super hot at the start of the season. I thought she was going to be Rookie of the Year after about 5 games, and she's had some good looks here tonight as well.
Out off the skate of Zumwinkle. Hustler settles it, goes back to Zumwinkle down low. Petrie along the goal line. Rings it around for Steckline. Now Heisey. Petrie back to Steck line, trying to settle it, unable to hold the zone as it skipped over her stick.
Yeah, puck just wouldn't sit still for
Heisey was ridden hard into the boards by Comfer. Both players will go for a change.
She's taken a couple hard hits so far tonight. They have definitely not been kind to her, making her night a little difficult.
Minnesota's back in with Kelly Panic. Claire Dalton intercepts the pass. Panic trying to break it loose. Now Curl. Taken down. Looks like the players got their skates tangled up. And Morin has it skip over her stick. Good penalty kill for Toronto.
Yeah, absolutely. Not really allowing Minnesota to get to the net front other than that first quick look that Doms Petrie almost missed on the rebound. Other than that, Toronto's done a good job of limiting Minnesota's chances.
Himlarova around the boards over to Anderson. Now Himlarova tried to center. Puck is loose in the crease, but out of harm's way as Budarak finds Anderson. Anderson tried the short side, sealed off by Kirk. Power play is over after 2 shots on goal on the advantage.
Yeah, and then that puck popped loose to the far side, but nobody home in a purple jersey. Kind of a wide open net on the back door, and Minnesota not there to finish the play.
Anderson has Budarak with her. Budarak, little shoulder check. Shot didn't miss by much. Natalie Bookbinder with the blast.
And that got through cleanly, too.
Here's Petrie. Back to Bookbinder. Shisheva tips it in. Petrie trying to wreak havoc. Katie Knoll fighting off Emma Malte. Now Shisheva. Malte able to play it ahead for DeGeorge. Back comes Jessie Comfer with speed. Comfer and a save Rooney. In case you heard what sounded like boos come through the airwaves, that is just Rooney from these Frost fans who love their goaltender.
You got a couple extended tie-ups along the boards. Yeah, it's about the 3rd or 4th one here tonight where the official had to make their voice known saying, better keep it moving.
Turnbull feeds Spooner. Spooner stick handling in, takes a shot. Hit Connors in front. And the Frost cleared out.
Toronto's done a good job of getting in lanes so far tonight. There's been a couple net front screens.
Maddie Rooney, a 2-time Olympian, 2-time World Championship gold medalist, and a 2-time Walter Cup champ, of course, as well. Rewarded for her efforts, especially in this year's Walter Cup, with a 3-year extension in the offseason.
And Heisey just got crunched again in the corner, and she will head to the bench.
It's been a tough night for Taylor Heisey. Back come the Scepters, Tara Watts, trying to make a nifty little move around Morin, but she was not fooled. Britta Curl skates it in. Tried to center it. Loose for the moment. Where's the puck? Reagan Kirk able to freeze it. Good chance there right in front for Kendall Cooper. Now Panic. Allie Monroe up for Connors. Lee Steckline will send it deep. We've seen some of the rookies already making an impact at this level, which is impressive. Steckline off the iron again.
And we've seen some of the vets stand out tonight, too.
Cooper tried to center. Now Panic. Cooper from the other side. Steckline lost it. Frost will have to tag up to get back on side.
I think right now both coaches have got to be pleased with what some of these new and or young players have done for their teams in this game. It can be intimidating to come into game one of a new season and try to make your mark, but so far everybody's looked comfortable at the very least, and a few of them have even had some good chances here today.
It'll be very interesting to see who is in that Rookie of the Year conversation. With so much talent, the PWHL has certainly gotten even more global, drawing some of the world's best talent. Anderson tried to gain the zone, sniffed out by Woods. Two and a half to go here in the second period. Still tied at 1. Both goals scored in the first.
And Minnesota's regained a slight lead in shots. It was even or close to even for a while. They now lead by 5, but it's even where it matters.
Katie Knoll gains the zone for the Frost. If you're just joining us, this is opening night across the PWHL. Right after our game, we'll see Seattle and Vancouver drop the puck as the two expansion teams begin their time with the PWHL. Shisheva bearing down, trying to create some havoc below the goal line. Harmon up for Hjalmarsson to Shelton. Now Turnbull rings it around the boards before going for a change. Check that Dalton. Zumwinkler. And Heisey's shot goes wide. Hustler back to Zumwinkle. Here's Kendall Cooper. Now Steckline. Heisey back to Steckline. Walking in, takes the shot. Reagan Kirk has certainly had to be strong tonight, and she's looking like a number 1.
Yeah, Steckline's had a few blasts that have gotten through and created some havoc out front. You see it go off Kirk's glove there. Great angle of that shot. And then the havoc ensues in front. Zumwinkle ends up on her backside, and Kirk able to find it for the whistle. But Coach Troy Ryan said Julie's going to get her chance, Kirk is going to get her chance, and we're going to see who deserves that starting spot. Again, trading away Campbell during the draft, so they just trying to see what their goaltenders can give them this year and who's going to lead the way.
Steckline. First shot blocked on the way by Shelton. Yeah, Reagan Kirk made her PWHL debut in December against New York and then took over the starting role for a bit last season. Scepters are looking to give Kristen Campbell a fresh start and trying to get a fresh start themselves in net. Certainly Elaine Shuley, fantastic in relief in Montreal. And as you mentioned, she will get her time as well to make an impact.
Yeah, I think for two backups, you're in really good hands here. I really like both these goaltenders.
Pearl trying to center from below the goal line. Off the boards. Batherson's shot cut off by Spooner, and Spooner's in all alone. Spooner, fan on the shot, and Rooney makes the save. At the buzzer. We're tied at 1 here in downtown St. Paul. So what will the third period have in store? We are about to find out as we are underway from Grand Casino Arena here in downtown St. Paul.
Well, in the last season on the banner raising ceremony for the Frost, they lost that game. It was the only loss in the first 5 games for them, though.
Heisey shot bought off, rebound, pops up into the air. Fast start for the Frost. Heisey had it knocked off her stick and cleared out of the zone.
And good to see Heisey still skating well and moving well after taking a few hits like we talked about heading into this period.
She'll head to the bench as Zumwinkle hunts down Flanagan. Heavy hit on Daryl Watts, who is down in pain.
And the trainer immediately coming out on the ice to check her out. She got crunched into the boards and looked like a clean hit in real time, but she went down hard and is getting checked out here.
Farrell Watts, a crucial part of this Scepters team. She was one of the 3 players they made sure to protect from that expansion draft. Ranked 3rd in the league last year with 27 points in 30 games.
And she was first on the team in goals with 12, so definitely a big player for this team. She's back to her knees now, at least. Good to see a little bit of movement out of her as they continue to check her out. A couple of her teammates keeping an eye on her as well. So she'll get a little further evaluation, as here's a look at the hit. Yeah, she kind of got knocked into the dasher there. She was already a little hunched over when Hustler hit her. Everything is okay. Anytime you're dealing with anything with the head, it's always a little extra scary.
We'll keep an eye on that Scepters bench, see if she does return. For now, they gain the zone. Kelly Panic off the end boards over to Batherson. Pearl looking to lead the breakout, chips it off the glass before taking a heavy hit herself.
And you just hope Watts can make her way back into this game. They're already down their best defender and Renata Fast. And tough to see another player get hurt here in game 1. Not how you want your season to start for sure.
Going Schofield, centering pass her Panic, bumped off her stick. And DeGeorge will skate it out. Check that, the Frost able to hold. Good work by Coyne Schofield to try to keep it alive, but she'll head to the bench now for a change.
It'll be interesting to see if these 2 teams play it safe or if someone tries to put the pedal to the metal here in the 3rd period.
Bouncing puck in a dangerous area. Shisheva unable to get a clean shot off. Katie Knoll tried the short side. Gazal, shot from distance, hit a body in front, and now Kirk. Larova on to take the draw. Gentry wins it for the Scepters. Shelton from behind her own net. Gazal had her shot blocked by Shelton. Shelton hands it off to Harmon. Maddie Rooney calmly plays it over to her teammate, Madison Bazal. You mentioned it earlier, but that banner-raising ceremony was a back-and-forth affair last season.
Yeah.
Alex Carpenter, the overtime winner for the Sirens, as that shot is saved by Rooney. Minnesota wins a big draw in the defensive zone. There's Zumwinkle receiving a big hit from Maggie Connors. Penalty coming as Heisey was taken down on her way to the net, arguing her case for more.
Yeah, that time the physical play on Heisey paid off for her. She's able to draw a penalty here. That's why it's important to keep moving your skates.
Toronto, number 40, minor penalty, slashing.
It'll be the captain, Blair Turnbull, to the sin bin.
Heisey just trying to cut to the net there, and clear view of the official as Heisey gets the slash kind of up by the hands there. Frost with the draw. This power play brought to you by Royale Tiger Towel. A key piece for the Toronto Scepters in the box right now, too.
Minnesota 0 for 1 on the power play with 2 shots, their first advantage. Cooper to Morin, and they jam away in front. Britta Curl denied by Kirk.
And you see her kind of banging away out front. The shot by Morin from the circle, and then Kirk just trying to tie up that side of the net. Curl maybe looking for a tip there, didn't get it, but turns around and bangs one in the pads of Kirk. You take a look at Curl's stat line last year. Also had some big plays in the postseason that really helped the Frost accomplish their second Walter Cup.
Morin the one-timer, and that might have stung Kendall Coyne Schofield. Blocked on the way as Cooper feeds Morin now on the left side. Cooper Gloved and held by Kirk.
Game so far, they both came earlier in the game.
Another face-off win for the Frost as Heisey able to get it across the stick line.
Yeah, Frost have dominated in that category here tonight.
Petrie lost the puck momentarily. Nice hold by Heisey. And Harmon will clear it out for the Scepters.
Toronto will get some fresh penalty killers out there.
Zumwinkle. Up ahead for Heisey, who's in. Leaves for Zumwinkle. Zumwinkle off her backhand to Petrie. Petrie tied up. Heisey over to stick line. Taylor Heisey skating in. Tried to drop it back for Steckline, but Malte was there, and here she comes shorthanded. Sorted out nicely by Steckline with just 18 seconds to go on the power play.
Most defenders wouldn't have made that look so easy. She just kind of stood her ground there and waited for that puck to end up on her stick.
Panic shot! A rebound comes loose, but just goes wide. Kelly Panic.
Gosh, that looked harmless, and it ended up not being.
Atherson unable to hold the zone, and here comes Turnbull out of the box. Has Comfer with her, but tied up by Coyne Schofield. 4 shots on goal on that power play. Here comes Carl, her shot, and Kirk gets a piece. Minnesota lost that face-off to the Scepters. Lengthy battle along the boards, and it pops loose to Allie Monroe. Now Spooner. Malte, one-touch pass, and what a shot! They score! Kiara Zanin, with her first professional goal, has given the Scepters the lead.
I don't know what was better there, the pass or the shot. Both of them were awesome. And we talked about how some of these young players have stood out here tonight. No better way to stand out than to get on the scoreboard. And here's another look at the pass through the neutral zone, and Zanin just kind of barrels her shoulder down and fires this shot off as Madison Bazal just can't kind of catch up to her and break that play up. And she beats Rooney for Toronto's first lead of the night. Gets her first PWHL goal here tonight.
It's a good goal, and I guess we shouldn't be surprised. She did score in both of Toronto's preseason games against Ottawa. Maybe the best news this period is Daryl Watts is back on the bench for the Scepters.
Awesome to see. And she's probably happy to see that her team is in the lead now. When she left, it was all tied up.
Now the Frost looking to make a comeback of their own. They scored the first goal of this game just 4 minutes in. Toronto answered at the end of the first period and now has the lead.
Well, and I'm not surprised that the score is what it is. 4 of the 6 matchups last year between these two teams were 1-goal games.
Sarah Jalmerson, another rookie, stops up but lost an edge. Kendall Cooper turns it the other direction. This building has gone a little quiet as Frost fans were hoping to cheer this team on to a big win on their banner-raising night.
Well, it's all fun and games when the banner's being raised, but things got serious real fast.
Still 13 minutes to go. Batherson around for Sydney Morin. That pass cut off by Connors. Heisey pokes it free into the neutral zone.
I mentioned how a lot of these games last year were close between these two teams, and Minnesota was actually the only team Toronto didn't beat in regulation twice last year. So some very close matchups, a couple that went into extra time. And this one is following that same trend of being a low-scoring, tight game.
Here's Watts, back onto the ice. Lost it to Curl. And now Panic sends it in for the Frost. Minnesota did win 4 of those 6 matchups last year in the regular season. And of course, won 3 of 4 in the playoffs. Panic. 3-step line. Takes it around the net. Tried the short side. Puck is loose. Right in front. How did that stay out?
Was that puck glued to the ice, Jamie?
Wow. Another look at one of the best looks of the night for the Frost. But a break for Reagan Kirk and company.
Yeah, Ken Clee saying that when they heard there was a chance that they might be able to get her back, they absolutely took it.
The feet across. Bookbinder's chance. Blocked on the way. Here comes Turnbull with speed. Has Comfer. Comfer's shot gobbled up by Rooney.
Great job crashing the net. Looking for a rebound there. None to be had. And it can be intimidating to come into a different building to start the season, going up against the defending champs, watching the banner be raised, and then having to come out and try to play a hockey game, and they do not look phased at all.
When we think about how different of a look both sides have as we get a whistle. Of course, some of the draft picks, but getting Shisheva back was a big part of what they wanted to do, which was return 17 players from that 2025 championship team.
Yeah, 14 returning players for the Scepters, so a lot of new pieces, a lot of old pieces as well, though. So it'll be fun to see how these teams mesh over the season.
Dominique Petrie, of course, one of the biggest returning players. Takes it herself through the neutral zone with speed. Now lost it to Harmon. Battle along the boards for possession here. Zanin goes back to Harmon. In case you miss it, Kiara Zanin scoring her first PWHL goal to give the Scepters the lead, and here she is crashing the net again. Good defensive work by Batherson. Larova delivers a check along the boards. Gentry able to break it loose, tried the center. Rooney is there. Aggressive little poke check from the Frost goalie. Anderson trying to dig it out. Flanagan gets it to Woods. Now Darryl Watts along the goal line. Down low for Malte, back to Watts. Flanagan from the blue line. Monroe will bring it around for Watts. Good puck movement here by the Scepters. Malte. Now Flanagan off the end boards. Picked up by Spooner. Natalie Spooner, top of the slot. Her shot didn't miss by much. Centering pass, a shot just wide.
Some good pressure here by Toronto, swarming Minnesota, trying to add to this lead. Minnesota doesn't really have an answer for it right now.
Darryl Watts, a lengthy shift for her. Good to see she is feeling fine. Now Shelton had it sticked away by Budarak.
Just a couple shot recovery for Toronto there. And Minnesota's going to take a penalty. Well away from where you want to be taking a penalty if you're Minnesota. And now Toronto will head to the power play. We'll get the call here from the official.
Minnesota, number 91, minor penalty, tripping.
Shelton, one-timer, missed the net. Another chance, bouncing puck in front and cleared out by Himlarova.
Well, and it feels with how low scoring this game is.
Another face-off win for the Scepters in the D-zone. Ella Shelton, one of the goal scorers for the Scepters tonight. Shelton scoops up the loose puck. Toronto trying to get organized to lead the breakout here on the advantage. Just over a minute to go. Chalmerson ran on the pass attempt, picked up by Watts. Toronto having a tough time trying to break out of their own end. Spooner, bothered by Shisheva.
Minnesota happy just to kill some more of this power play clock.
Here comes Shelton. Leaves for Watts, who gains his own. Watts trying to make a nifty little move. Couldn't beat Batherson as Chalmerson now sends it over to Shelton. Her shot deflects wide. Katie Knowles skating it through the neutral zone. May Batherson. Precious seconds ticking away on the Toronto power play.
A really, really good kill here for Minnesota, especially in the late stages of this kill. And like I said, this could prove to be a critical kill because we've only seen 3 goals here tonight, so it feels like a 2-goal lead for any team at this point would be insurmountable.
No shots allowed by the Minnesota penalty killers as Heisey's shot goes wide. The pass off the mark. Comfer tries to send it in for Toronto. Here's Connors. Zumwinkle trying to fight through a check by Comfer. Cooper up ahead but not out. Hustler off the boards. Heisey has Zumwinkle, the pass just out of her reach, and Zanin sends it in for Toronto before taking a heavy hit.
Yeah, 2 Frost players plus Zanin all knocked into each other there and hit the deck. Everybody got up okay though.
Britta Curl tried to make a move. Zanin denies her. Back and forth we go in a tight game. Reagan Kirk has seen enough and will get an offensive zone face-off for the Frost. Don't go anywhere. It's a 2-1 lead for the Toronto Scepters here in Minnesota. Earl wins the draw for the Frost. Sydney Morin. Down low, Coyne Schofield trying to catch up to the loose puck. Just over 5 minutes to go as Minnesota looks to find the equalizer. Curl up the board to Morin. Kelly Panic. Curl takes a shot off the end boards and wide. Bookbinder able to hold the zone for the Frost. And Panic's going to get called for that. Delayed penalty coming.
And Toronto might just try to kill a little bit of clock here before they try to work this ahead because we're getting close to the end of regulation here.
Scooped up by Watts. Knoll touched it but didn't possess it, so we play on as Shelton continues to burn the clock.
Kirk on the bench for the extra attacker.
Watts tries to feed it down low for Shelton, and there is the whistle.
Well, kind of an unfortunate penalty for Kelly Panic, the Minnesota forward, as we'll get the call from the official here.
You can see what
Minnesota number 12, minor penalty, tripping.
She just kind of swung her stick around because the puck was behind her, and as she did that, a Toronto player, Flanagan, skated right into the stick, so Panic obviously not intending to do that.
Oh, but that's a penalty.
It counts all the same, so Panic needs to be a little more careful with her stick.
And what is it, the second offensive zone penalty?
Yes, in this period. Since they've gone down 2-1, so Minnesota.
Well, Toronto, their 3rd power play of the night, 0 for 2 with 1 shot through the first 2.
Well, we'll see what Minnesota's made of here. They need a kill.
Errol Watts shot, fought off by Rooney. Rebound comes out and Steckline has it. Steckline tried to feed it to Shisheva, but a bit out of her reach. Ella Shelton. She drops for Jalmerson. Malte brings it around the boards over to Spooner. Here comes Himlerova shorthanded. Has Curl breaking toward the net, but put it out of her reach. Sarah Watts gaining speed through the neutral zone, and they're in offside.
And here in this game, assuming Minnesota kills off these final 20 seconds, that'll leave a little over 2 minutes on the game clock, which means that by the time this penalty's over, Minnesota's going to quickly be looking to get Maddie Rooney off the ice for the extra attacker within about probably 30 or 45 seconds. So we'll see what Coach Ken Klee decides to do.
One final clear for the Frost. We're back to even strength with just one shot on goal allowed by that kill.
So they've done task number one, which is kill the penalty, and now they got to find a way to get some puck possession and give Rooney a chance to get off the ice.
Rooney out to play it now. Sid Morin. Here comes Panic. Keep an eye on Rooney as she stays in her crease for now. Smart decision. Yet. Emma Woods sends it in deep before going for a change. Minute and a half to go here in the third period. Opening night of season 3 in the PWHL, and the defending champs are going to try to find some late magic here.
And Klee getting ready to send an extra skater out as soon as he feels his team has enough possession. He's taking a look at the clock, and he's waved Rooney off. Extra skater is coming on.
Goes. Empty net, and Connors almost got there. It was the rookie Kendall Cooper able to disrupt that play. 6-on-5 for the Frost as we enter the final minute of the third period here in Minnesota. Cooper to her knees to keep the puck in the zone. Heisey trades places with Cooper. Heisey's shot deflects wide. Heisey gets it back and feeds Zumwinkle down low. Up high now for Steckline. Back for Cooper. Cooper's shot deflects, but just wide. And the Scepters will send it the length of the ice, but it'll be icing. And the Frost win the draw. Morin walking the line. Heavy hit. Morin deflecting in front, and Kirk squeezes the pads.
Well, Katie Knoll trying to get a stick on that, and she might be a new fan favorite after how she closed out the season last year, but she can't find the back of the net on that sequence. So Minnesota doing a good job setting the puck up here, getting some offensive zone time with the goalie pulled, but the clock is continuing to tick, and now they have less than 20 seconds to try to even this one up. They did not have an extra attacker goal at all last season. They're trying to change that here in night 1 of season 3.
Britta Curl going to work against Blair Turnbull. Important face-off won by Turnbull. Ellis Shelton rings it around the boards, but not out. The Frost keep it alive for now. It's Knoll. Now Turnbull off her backhand. Still not out. Curl keeps it alive. Now a little spin around with Comfer, but it goes wide, and the icing will be called. Kelly Panic to take the draw. Turnbull wins it, and the horn sounds on opening night. Reagan Kirk and the Toronto Scepters come into downtown St. Paul and play spoiler. It's a 2-1 final.